happened over the last decade is that filmmaking has seen a real shift. Now, if you're familiar with the process of filmmaking, it's expansive, big budgets, big scales, lots of people working together. And as Dr. Sudarshan Balal noted this morning, the smartphone is perhaps the most radical innovation that he's seen in his life. And I think the smartphone has transformed filmmaking entirely. And I safely bet that all our three winners here today at the Flash Film Challenge probably used a mobile phone. Did anybody use any professional equipment? Nobody? See, there we go. And I think that technology shift has also enabled the kind of stories and narratives that are being discussed to be also changed. Newer genres, newer niches, and urban themes that deeply resonate with all of us in pockets which filmmakers would not have touched with a barge pole maybe about 15, 20 years back. What you're living through right now is what you can safely call the new wave of cinema. If you're looking at a transitional moment, this is it. And in that upcoming panel, you're going to be meeting the people who are leading that wave of transformational cinema. And they're not just making movies. What they're doing fundamentally is unlocking the possibility for you and me to be able to venture into a domain and field which was earlier so walled and so complicated to get into. So please join me in welcoming on stage our first panelist, who started off as a theater actress at the young age of 16, and she slowly transitioned into films with the Sundance competition and Netflix original Brahman Naman. And then she started in the web series Better Life Foundation and Bisht Please, apart from appearing in numerous ad campaigns. Now today, she's most known by her first feature screenplay, Achar and Co., which marked her directorial debut, and she played the lead role as well. Please join me in welcoming on stage actress, writer, directress, Sindhu Sreenivasa Murthy. Now, our next panelist's debut was an iconic film, Lucia, which holds the distinction of being the first crowd-funded film here in Karnataka. Obviously, no looking back after that. She went on to star in films such as Life Ishtene, Un Samil Ariel in Tamil, Ullavacharo Biryani in Telugu, and Oggarane in Kannada. Her most recent release, Toby, starring opposite actor Raj B. Shetty. And her early years of mentoring in cinema, theatre, and dance have been under stalwarts such as B. Jayashree and Nirupama Rajendra. Now, she also runs an art space called The Artery, which coordinates exhibitions and art events. So please put your hands together and welcome on stage Samyukta Hornad. Thank you, Samyukta. Well, our next panelist is a true blue Bangalorean. She completed her biotech engineering at MS Ramaya and went on to intern at the Jawaharlal Nehru Center of Advanced Scientific Research. She made a switch to the big screen and debuted in Bengaluru Queens, which is a Kannada web series, and later acted in films such as Mahira, Gilki, Taledanda, and Adrishya. Her latest release include Toby and Saptasa Sagaradache Yellow, Side B, starring opposite Rakshit Shetty. Please welcome on stage actress and singer Chaitra Achar. I just want to say I want to thank you for your patience for bearing with us over the last 1 hour. So we are really delighted to have you here with us today. And to lead this discussion, I'd like to call on stage the associate editor here at Deccan Herald, Ramkrishna S.R.
Yeah, good evening. And welcome to this panel where we discuss the emergence of a new Bengaluru cinema. And thank you, all three of you, for being here and also for waiting patiently as the other panels were in progress. So let's start with a simple Bengaluru question. What is it about Bengaluru that inspires you as artists? And what is it that drives you to despair? So let's start with Sindhu.
I think what inspires me the most about Bangalore is the simplicity and how beautiful life is here in terms of I think the humility, the simplicity that people carry with them. It really has become the symbol of the city itself. And that's what I truly enjoy about the city. I like working in the city. Plus, it inspires me to make stories that are more grounded and humble and rooted. And drives me to despair is definitely, on a general note, the traffic, of course. But artistically, I feel like we could open up our cinemas. And I think the audience needs to develop a larger palette for all kinds of films so that all kinds of films can be made and can be watched and appreciated in the city. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Samyukta.
So I'm a hardcore Bangalore girl, but I have lived in Bombay, Chennai, Hyderabad, elsewhere. What I love most about Bangalore is actually the openness that's there. Be it the cab drivers to everybody here. We know multiple languages and we're very welcoming. Even our films, our languages, we use multiple languages. And you don't see that we're very generous people, I feel, and I like that the most. And of course, the problem is traffic, but we have such great weather and such great food here, so I think I can forgive that problem. What I would like to see as an artist is, I think, the theater about 30, 40 years ago, or the artist the way I have seen my Ajji, Tata, and the theater culture that was there, I think that's a little lost. While if you go to Bombay, elsewhere, people are really aggressively chasing something. And the flip side of Bangalore being so laid back is the fact that we almost forgive everything, you know? And I feel like that laid back attitude is both good and bad. So I would like to, as an artist, feel like we need more of this hardcore, let's do it in us.
Yeah. And what's it?
I think I'm just sitting. I shouldn't have sat here because they're taking all the points that I want to say, and then I'm like, what do I say now? So what I love about Bangalore is like Samyukta said, I was born and brought up here. So no matter which corner of Bangalore I go or I'm shooting at, it feels like home. So you don't feel that there's openness, people are very welcoming. And if I speak Tamil, there's a person who speaks Tamil for me, even if he doesn't know the broken Tamil or Telugu or a Malayalam, any language. So we're very welcoming that way, and we make others feel at home. That is something that I love about Bangalore in general. And what I don't like, or that despair, is definitely traffic, but also, like Samyukta said, after COVID, a lot of things changed. But the theatre culture, like everybody going to the theatre, it's nice. I mean, it's great that when you don't feel like going outside, there's something for you to watch on an OTT platform, and you just feel very lazy about it. All that is nice. But I think that culture it's annoying at times when we've done a film and we're going promoting it and asking people now, it's like so difficult. It's difficult to make them to come watch it in theaters. They'll be like, okay, now I think it'll release in OTT, we'll watch it then. It shouldn't happen, because all the things that we do, be it sound, music, re-recording and acting, and the DI, everything that we cater to do films is for the theater experience. And when people don't come there, that is a little annoying, along with the traffic. Yeah.
So you'd like more people to come to the theaters and watch your films?
Of course, that is a different game altogether.
Yes, and you'd like the traffic to be better?
Yeah.
Right. And on that positive note, let's get into your films. Sindhu, you've just made a film called Achar and Co. And before that, you've also worked on films like Brahman Naman and French Biryani. For those of you who are unfamiliar with these films, French Biryani is about a French tourist who comes to Bangalore, and then he gets involved in a caper with an auto driver, played by Danish Seth. And then Achar and Co. is a film that is set in the 60s. And Sindhu has recreated the Bangalore of the 60s. And I'm sure you've done it so painstakingly well and so evocatively well. What prompted you to go back in time, to the 60s? And is there something of this, the times were so much better then, kind of sentiment when you go back in time to make a film like this? And are some of us stuck in this kind of nostalgia when we think of Bangalore and Bangalore cinema?
So two things. One is that growing up in Bangalore, I saw a lot of individual houses, right? You walk past Baswangudi, Malleshwaram, Jayanagar, you'd see these beautiful individual houses with beautiful architecture built in like, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's so prominent. And nowadays, especially since I think 2015, we're seeing that like so many of these buildings being demolished. And with that, we're wiping away some part of our heritage and our culture. Even the buildings represent our culture. It brings back a time, a feeling, an emotion, and I feel that that is now being eroded for apartments and matchbox style living. So I desperately wanted to relive or reimagine Bangalore of what it would be like in the 60s. That was one of the reasons, and I absolutely think I'm an old soul at heart, and I'm stuck somewhere thinking I wish I was born in the 60s and the 70s, and I really enjoy that period for what it was. It was so simple, it was so beautiful, and not as complicated as today, but also really relishing in, like, I think the other panelists and the other, discussions, they were talking about, our ancestors, what they have done and how we have built our culture over a period of time. It was really cherished back then. Every detail was cherished back then.
So what you see there is a certain simplicity that is lost today, and
exactly.
That's something that you wanted to look at. And I think your narrative is, almost Malgudi days-like. And,
exactly, and that was my second point actually. When I was growing up, we watched a lot of this Malgudi days or Mr. Anantnag sir's films, which had such beautiful concepts and themes and characters which were neither too positive nor were they like negative. They were so real, so real and raw and grey. And today we just have like, okay, hero, antagonist, heroine, and that's it. Right. We don't see real people being represented in our films anymore. So I think both of these prompted me to like kind of go back in time.
Right, so that's a film with family. It's about a family, 10 children, coming of age, and the fights within the family, and it's a story that many of us old Bangaloreans are familiar with, in our own lives. So, since we are now trying to look at 2040, yeah. So, what kind of film would you make if you had to make a film about the future, about Bangalore 2040? What would Sindhu call a film set in 2040?
I honestly don't know. It sometimes scares me to think of what Bangalore will be in like the 2040s, because like I said, we're giving our lives away to like matchbox style living, apartments everywhere, and we've lost the charm of a garden or a backyard and just growing your own vegetables and flowers, and we've just lost that somewhere along the way. So for me, 2040 is really scary that we're moving towards a very matchbox style living, like what I see in Bombay, for example. But the other thing is that, on the positive side, I think technology is really helping our lives in I think, monumental ways. So I feel like something along the lines of like technology and versus the human, probably that would what be in the 2040s. That would what my premise would be, I guess.
Right. So Samyukta, I think you have 31 films where you play the lead, and in 7 of them you've played a journalist. So it's only fitting that you're here on the Deccan Herald 2040 stage. So what are these urban roles like, and how do they reflect the new Bangalore that you see? Because you come from a family that's rooted in arts and culture. Your grandfather Nani was a very famous artist, theater artist, known for makeup, and then your mother is an artist too, Sudha, who's starred in many films, including Mungaru Male. 300 films, including hits such as Mungaru Male. So, for somebody who comes from a family like yours, how do the new roles that you're taking up, how do they reflect the new Bangalore?
So, interestingly, I was a child artist when I did Adi Nagalu, which shows Bangalore in its 80s. My grandpa also was an actor, so he acted in a film called as Accident, Accident.
Okay.
So in that film, again, you see class disparity, and then you see power games that's being played. I would say the films right now also, be it Sapta Sagara or even Achar and Co., we see the same topics. But the way it's been treated, the dynamics of it, even technically, the cameras have changed. So the films have changed, and I think art represents the society around you, and also it influences, right? So I have, for some reason, played the most Bangalore girl there is, including my language. It's not full Kannada. I've played an IT girl, a journalist, 8 times journalist, and then I played a cop. Interestingly, in that film, my mom is a hacker. You know, so it's very interesting that films in Kannada, especially, there's a lot happening, especially in women roles in the past 20 years. I've always been working in my films. And the whole thing about Pakkad Mane Hudgi, girl next door, the girl next door is really working hard. She's having a heartbreak. She's in relationships. She's looking for love. Nothing has changed, but everything has changed. You know what I'm saying? So we had very strong roles when Putana Kangal sir was directing, or actually if you look at Mani Ratnam sir as well, there's a lot of Bangalore-ness, and you know, that's been used. And even in a
I think
Telugu...
Pallavi and Anupallavi was shot exclusively in Bangalore.
Yeah, and my Aji was in it. So, so what I'm trying to say is, even when I did a Telugu film, it's very interesting. The film did really well on OTT. I played a Bangalore girl, as in, though she's from Hyderabad, when she wanted to be independent and she was looking for a job and she's shown as a fun girl, I come back to Bangalore. Okay. So the Bangalore girls are shown differently in films. And I find that very interesting. Bangalore Days or all of these films, the youngness, the openness of Bangalore is there in films. So I am always riding bikes and doing cool things. I am that girl also. But I love it that it's not black and white for women here.
So what we are saying is that there's a new Bangalore that's that we are seeing in many of these films, new characters that we see around us in Bangalore, and and there's a new cinema emerging which is actually looking at how Bangalore is changing,
how Bangalore is looking at women, and how the other industries are looking at Bangalore.
How others are looking at Bangalore.
Yeah,
very interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of films use Bangalore as the locale for an ultra-modern city within India, and that's something that we see in cinemas across India. So Chaitra, you have been acting in very intense films like Sapta Sagara Dache Yellow, shortened to SSE for those who might not be able to say to get the Kannada right. SSE2, Sapta Sagara Dache B, side B. It comes from the cassette era of side A and side B. So it's a film set in Bangalore, and it looks at a certain dark side of Bangalore, where the director takes delight in the new landscapes of Bangalore. Not Vidhan Sauda and the glass house, but dug up roads and the flyovers being constructed, and the CB side of Bangalore, the underbelly of Bangalore. I think this is somewhat, again, like we knew a Hong Kong cinema made by, with heroes like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. And then we now see films by Wong Kar-wai, where we look at a darker side, Chungking Express and films like that. So is that happening in Kannada? Because you are starring in films like SSE and Toby, which are very edgy.
Toby is based, that is in Mangalore, like that side. But Sapta, like you said, like side B was this time, around post-COVID. And side A was 10 years back. So it like Hemant very artistically and factually tried to put all those small details where 10 years back how Bangalore existed and now how Bangalore has changed. But what he has kept constant was emotions. I think like Sam said, everything else is changing, but how we feel, what we do, I have still stayed the same. That's exactly how we are falling in love, having breakups and, moving on with life. But the interesting thing is in films, we always, we definitely explore urban side of it in most of the films, but films like this or Kalasipalya or Jogi, for that matter, they show the other class of people who stay in slums. There are slums in Bangalore also. There are, low middle class people or middle class people who live we call in Canara it's called Vataras. So in that community, so that also exists. So I think that we also cater, but that also being major part of Bangalore's population, so people can connect easily, and those are our audience. Middle class people are the ones who's like, hey, today is a festival, we'll go watch a film. Otherwise everybody is like, let's go party. But these people who value that family bonding, let's have a meal together kind of audience are the ones who will come watch our films, and we cater to them. And when they see such small details of the films, they can relate easily. Hey, this is like, I've seen this. My neighbor lives like this. She wears a sari like I do. So this is the relatability. So that way, I think, the cinema is actually exploring those aspects. And though I don't come from that background, it is interesting to know that this exists and I can play that role and live that life and also understand where those people come from, be it Achar and co, or be it, being a journalist, or being Surabhi, who's a sex worker who lives in Bangalore and who's been there all her life, after she's come from wherever she came from. So it's interesting that way to play such characters in these films.
Yeah, that's right. And talking of background, you probably represent the new Bengaluru film professional, because you switched from biotech engineering to acting. Right. And Shashank, who's here, is also an engineer. And there are lots of engineers now turning to filmmaking and acting. So how does this, when you come into the movies and you take up these intense roles which are not so glamorous, do you feel that you got a raw deal?
No, I mean, I'm choosing it, right? There's a plateau, and then they're giving me so many roles. I choose, okay, now I want jamun, I want an ice cream. So I can choose roti also, but I'm choosing these two because I like doing it. And there's a lot for me to explore. There's so much drama. I, as a person, I'm a very academically oriented person, and I'm very, that, okay, someone said I can't do this, now I will do that. I might fail at it, I will do it. Let's see.
You're brilliant at it.
So I am that rebel kid. So that's exactly why I choose these roles. And it gives me some kind of kick, I think. And it's an adrenaline rush for me to choose such roles and deliver whatever I can. And probably that's why I'm choosing these roles. And it is interesting, There are so many roles that comes my way, but somehow these roles just catch my eyes.
You pick the ones that challenge, throw a challenge at you.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So let's look at how cities compare when it comes to the creative vibe. For example, all three of you, I think, have worked across cities. Sindhu has made commercials for some of the biggest brands in India, Airtel, Titan, and you've worked in Bombay. And Samyukta again, she divides her time between Bengaluru, Chennai, and Hyderabad. And it's the same with Chaitra, right? So you are familiar with three or four industries. How does Bengaluru fare as a film city, film-making city? Is there something that is there a creative vibe here that inspires you, or do you think there's a creative vibe in Mumbai and Chennai that's missing here? What is it? How do you look at it, Sindhu?
Right. So I feel like the film industry is far more organized in Bombay from what I can compare. Everything is a bit more professional in that sense, that it is very cut-to-cut, planned, organized, and put together. And I think that even, for example, like casting, it's an entire profession by itself. Casting directors exist. So it gives accessibility to actors to just approach casting directors who have like multitude of projects that they're casting for, and then you get onto films. Here we don't have that system of, let's say, casting directors or casting groups. So the accessibility is not there for the actors to find out where the projects are happening, which films are happening, and how could they test for it. So that gap is still there. So I feel like the industry here is still very nascent in terms of the level at which it can be organized.
It can be more specialized in the way it deals with filmmaking.
Exactly. It can be more organized and professional at every step. And that is what I see is the biggest one. And also the opportunities that I have seen in Bombay are far greater in the sense that the magnitude of the projects, the budgets of the projects, the production of the projects are far bigger. when I was auditioning in Bombay, I was not just auditioning for Hindi projects or, I was also auditioning for international projects because international market also looks at Bombay as the hub for films. So when it is an international project like, I don't know, even let's say your Matrix or, when they're casting for an Indian person or your Suitable Boy, they're all looking at, Bombay.
Right. Can Bangalore get there?
It has to get there only when these things happen, which is like establishing casting directors or a point of contact who will then kind of accumulate these actors and show that, okay, there is diverse talent here in Bangalore as well, and they could be in the running for some of these roles.
Yeah, sure. So what is it, Samyukta, that you find different among the cities that you work in?
Yeah, so I'm going to take it from where she left. There, it's seen as like an industry, like a factory. We have contracts we sign. They say these many days. It happens in these many days. And everything is very, very organized. And I would say that. One more thing is opportunities, as she said. Even I have been in Bombay for a year. I used to do theater, I used to do audition. Even the audition, they say come at 11 o'clock. You go there, and there are about 20 others in the same room. It really feels like you're moving somewhere. And they get up in the morning, and you are at it. Here, I think, maybe because of the food or the weather, we're very, very lazy. Like, we're very laid back, and we're like, hey, aagate, yenido, ido arto. That attitude is there, which is why we're not there where Bombay is. Also, I feel like there's Ramoji Film City and other spaces where we shoot. And Bangalore doesn't have a space like that. Infrastructure-wise, we can be a lot more welcoming to the film industry because every time we have to shoot, we go to another city. And why do we do that? Even though we have the best weather, we should be shooting here. So it also generates a lot of employment. It's what we should be looking at, I feel. And,
right.
And the last thing I would say is the difference between the rich and the poor in other cities is a lot more. Here, you'll see a Jaguar moving or an Audi, and then there is a slum right there. Even the cities, the way it's shown is like that. What we have in Bangalore is not really there everywhere. If you move from Jayanagar to Kormangala to Brigade, you find the same kind of conversation, same kind of youngsters, same kind of people. That's not there in any other city.
Right. But on the other hand, there's a certain homogeneity in those cities which probably, works well for their film industries. Whereas in Bangalore, you probably have multiple cities within a city, and then, there you probably find people who've never watched a Kannada film in Bangalore, right?
Correct. And we're not making the most use of it, is what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I feel.
Make the best of the diversity.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Chaitra, how does it work in the other cities for you, and what is the Bangalore vibe that you would say inspires you?
Like they said, yes, there are a lot of things that we should improve as technicians and with respect to what government gives us also. But the best thing is we are very inclusive. We are very, we adapt quickly. We're like water. So that's exactly what makes us go to different cities and act in their industries. But what I see on their set is I don't know what stops them, but they're very laid back with respect to communicating or expressing. They're very creative, definitely the best, they're in all the industries covered. But that is something that we, probably excel at because we are not self-conscious or we are not scared. We're very confident. This is what I see on other sets. If they've come from Bangalore or if they've come from our, state or city, they adapt very quickly. They can gel with anybody. They'll learn their language on spot or, even if it's broken. So that is very nice about us. And so when we do that, they're like, oh yeah, they take time, yes, but I think we also inspire them that way. So they'll be like, okay, now I think we should also, get along well. So that is something very positive about, us.
Something very open and
welcoming
about
we're very open.
The way we look at things and how we work on the sets. Right. So I would also ask you, what are the, I think our time is up, but I'll come to the last question, which is Bangalore, with our diversity of languages, how do you look at cinema in 2040? Is it going to be cinema in multiple languages, or are many more people going to tune into the kind of very intense and good quality Kannada cinema that people professionals like you are producing?
I think we already are covering like 5 to 7 languages right now, and when we make a pan-India film, it is dubbed in all these languages. Probably, we will end up learning the language. I don't know. Maybe we will all speak in that language and probably get all international languages also. Maybe that's possible, and I'm looking forward to that also. Probably dubbed in different.
And what's your favorite Bangalore film?
Favorite Bangalore film? Malgudi Days. I mean, it goes back to that. But urban-wise, I think these days they're doing... I like the way Bangalore Days was shown. Like the Bangalore Days of a Malayali person staying here and how he experiences all our culture is something that I love. So, yeah, that film.
Yeah, right. Samyukta, how do you look at this? The Bangalore...
And of course, Achar and Co.
Achar and Co, of course.
Yeah.
Bangalore of 2040, the cinema scene.
I have a feeling soon, whatever boundaries are there, it's all getting broken. Every film is a pan-India film, and anybody in any corner of the world can watch a film in Canara, Tamil, Telugu, whatever they want to watch it in. So, my series right now, I'm talking in Telugu, Hindi, and Kannada. Because I'm playing a cop, and so everything is changing. You don't need to know Malayalam to be in a Malayalam film. They want you to have your South Indian Kannadiga accent there. Right. So it's lovely. It's a great space for artists to be. There are a lot more opportunities. So I feel like 2040 will all be like more open-minded, and we'll all be working a lot more. Wow. I think after COVID, interestingly, artists started to get more work. Yeah. There is an opportunity, and I'm not thinking shelf life anymore. So I feel that for...
And your favorite Bangalore film would be?
Oh, there are a lot. I actually quite like my own film, Life Ushtene. I think it shows love and problems of Bangalore very, very sweetly. Yeah. So I think if that film released now, it would be like a great film. But yeah, sure. I quite like that film.
Yeah, and Sindhu?
I think...
and Achar and Co. and Saptasagara.
Sorry, huh?
And Achar and Co. and
yes.
I think like Samyukta said, I think the stories that are being written and the characters that are being written, the films that we're going to see is that characters will be speaking different languages. Suddenly somebody will break into a Tamil or a Telugu, because our population right now has that. We are speaking Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi, English, so many languages already. So the coming... including Nepali, Manipuri, etc., right? Because there's a huge population that is just coming to Bangalore that's not just native Kannadigas, right? So in our films of the future, we will be seeing these languages kind of like weaving into our films, and I think that is beautiful to watch. And I think an example of that would be what Killer Soup has done right now on Netflix, which is, it is set in Tamil Nadu, but they speak Tamil, they also speak Hindi, and there is English. So it's a beautiful amalgamation, and that's what is the future.
Right. So as we wrap this panel up, the bonus is that all three on this panel are musicians and singers. So we'll ask them to conclude with their favorite songs. Yeah?
So, I mean, we're moving towards 2040, but I love folk songs. So it always stays there, we love our roots. So I would like to sing a folk song for all of you. This is my favorite song from a serial. This is the title track. ರೆಂಬೆ ಕೊಂಬೆಯ ಮ್ಯಾಲ ಗೂಡು ಕಟ್ಟಿದವರಕಿ ಬಲಿತ ಹಕ್ಕಿ ಆ ಗೂಡಿನ್ಯಾಗ ಮಲಗ್ಯಾವ ಮರಿ ಹಕ್ಕಿ ರೆಂಬೆ ಕೊಂಬೆಯ ಮ್ಯಾಲ ಗೂಡು ಕಟ್ಟಿದವರಕಿ ಬಲಿತ ಹಕ್ಕಿ ಆ ಗೂಡಿನ್ಯಾಗ ಮಲಗ್ಯಾವ ಮರಿ ಹಕ್ಕಿ ದೂರ ದೇಶದ ವಲಸಿದ ಹಕ್ಕಿಗೂ ಐತಿ ಜಗ ಒಳಗ ಬನ್ನಿರಿ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಳಗ ಮರದ ಎಲೆ ನೆರಳು ಮನೆಯ ಗ್ವಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಲಾಡತಾವಾಟ ಮರದ ಎಲೆ ನೆರಳು ಮನೆಯ ಗ್ವಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಲಾಡತಾವಾಟ ಬೂಡ್ಯವ ತೊಗಲ ಗೊಂಬಿಯಾಟ ಕರುಳ ಬಳ್ಳಿಯ ಓ ಕರುಳ ಬಳ್ಳಿಯ ಕಥೆಯ ಹೇಳುತ್ತವ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಶಾಂತ ಚಿತ್ತ ನಾವು ನೀವು ಅದರ ಭಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
It's scary to follow up after that. You also join. ಹುಟ್ಟು ಸಾವು ಬಾಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಕೊನೆಗಳು, ಬಯಸಿದಾಗ ಕಾಣದಿರುವ ಎರಡು ಮುಖಗಳು. ಹರುಷ ಒಂದೇ ಯಾರಿಗುಂಟು ಹೇಳು ಜಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೂವು ಮುಳ್ಳು ಎರಡು ಬಾಳಲಾಯಲ. ದುರಾಸೆ ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ನಿರಾಸೆ ಏತಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದೇನೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಅವನೇ ಕಾರಣ. ಬಾನಿಗೊಂದು ಎಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ನಿನ್ನಾಸೆಗೆಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊನೆಯಿದೆ. ಏಕೆ ಕನಸು ಕಾಣುವೆ, ನಿಧಾನಿಸು ನಿಧಾನಿಸು.
Thank you so much. Hit from the Rajkumar film Premada Kanike, sung by Rajkumar. Sindhu, your turn.
I'm not a singer, but I thoroughly enjoyed and I'm tada hakta idde, so that is good enough. Thank you so much.
So, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Sindhu, Samyukta,
Thank
Chaitra.
you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure's
Thank you.
ours.
Thanks
Pleasure.
all of you for listening.
Check. We have a small memento for all of you. But for those of you who've been with us since the morning, the entrepreneurship panel, one of the resounding themes was Bangalore as the hub of entrepreneurship. And I just had a thought out here. Usually an entrepreneur raises money, launches a product, spends lots of money in creating advertisements and marketing it. Sindhu has the reverse of a problem. She's made a 1-hour-long advertisement for a product that people love. And the question is, will there actually be a product at some point of time? And will that unlock more business potential and opportunities for you? Well, that time will tell us. But nonetheless, congratulations to all of you for enthralling us in ways that we never imagined that you would. So thank you so much once again. We have a small memento, and to give this away, I'd like to call on stage our features editor here at Deccan Herald, Rashmi Vasudeva. Rashmi, if you could please join us.
Hello, check. I must say, Samyukta was so excited from that time to get these because she was like, they're so beautiful, I want one.
If I could request all of you to step in the front of the stage, please.